Just White, she, her. I'm also based out of Phoenix, like many of you tonight. I am the Arizona Program Associate. So while Sun is a national nonprofit, I'm here with the state team, of which we have 3 people who are working to help promote solar on the ground in Arizona. And so, of course, tonight you're joining us so that we can learn together what is the Storage Rewards programs and why you should care about it. So as a little background for us specifically, as a member of Solar United Neighbors, we are a national nonprofit and we are a vendor neutral national nonprofit specifically. And what that means is that we don't officially affiliate ourselves with any one installer because really we want to give you the best service and we want to focus on the needs and interest of solar homeowners and folks who want to go solar. So we do all of our work outside of any partnerships like that so that we're giving you timely and helpful information that doesn't have any ulterior motives because of a partnership or connection we have with any one installer or distributor, etc. And so in Arizona specifically, like I said, I'm based here in Arizona and doing the work on the ground. We have, over the course of the last 6 years, helped almost 600 families to go solar, which always makes me very proud to hear. And through those 600 families, we've helped to generate more than $14 million in solar investments. And I think the 2 even more powerful numbers than that actually are that because of that $14 million investment, it's helped to create over 100 jobs and also created $25 million worth of projected savings for folks who have gone solar. And so that's 600 families that over the next 25 years will have $25 million that they've saved that they can then use in their own communities too, keeping that money local. And then for our mission, we kind of have a 3-pronged approach. And the first, not surprisingly, is to help folks go solar. And we do that from either households all the way up to nonprofits and small businesses by giving them the information so they can feel empowered to make the best decision for them. And that might include a roof review, or we might help with proposal reviews. So if you get proposals from multiple installers, we'll help you to go over those to see what is the best for you in your situation. We help folks join together. And so we hold events where people can come, kind of like this. And we also host co-ops. And so that's a bulk purchasing campaign where a group of people in a certain locality, so the Phoenix metro area, for example, will say, I'm interested in going solar. And it's no obligation, but we give you resources during that process. And by joining, you get a bulk discount. So it is cheaper to go solar that way. And then last, we help fight for energy rights, and that is all the way up at the national scale down to the hyper-local. So that might be at the state level, that might be in communities. We actually just recently hired a rural organizer. So we're really spreading our reach out throughout all of Arizona. And then ultimately, our goal through those 3 mission statements is that we really want to work towards a new energy system that's fair and equitable, where energy can be accessed by everyone, particularly solar energy, making it affordable for everyone who's interested. Okay, and then tonight we'll be covering 3 items. The first, of course, is distributed power plants and what are those, and then how you can use distributed power plants to help you save money and benefit the grid at the same time. After that, the folks at APS who have kindly joined us tonight are going to talk about their storage rewards program and basically what it is and how you can participate. And then at the end, we'll answer all of your questions, or at the very least, we'll get back to you afterwards. So if you do have questions, feel free to put them in the Q&A, and then we'll go over those at the end after everyone has presented. With that in mind, I'll go ahead and pass it over to the lovely Shannon.
Yeah, thanks so much, Jess. And thank you everyone for joining us this evening. So I'm Shannon Anderson. I'm Sun's Distributed Power Plant Policy Director. I live in Wyoming and then work nationwide to help advance distributed power plants. So what are distributed power plants? You might also hear them called virtual power plants. And I know Arizona Public Service does call them virtual power plants. A lot of utilities use that nomenclature. At Sun, we call them distributed power plants because they're really connecting distributed energy resources into what is managed like a power plant. So essentially, you're talking about geographically dispersed, but centrally managed groups of customer resources that supply energy, reduce power demand, and provide critical services to the electric grid. The resources are used in a coordinated manner during what's called a grid event. So thinking of sort of like a peak power time of the grid when it's really important to shift load or add some additional energy storage to the grid that helps reduce peak power demands and saves people money. So we're excited to talk to you all tonight because your home can be a distributed power plant resource within the APS system through this program that they've enabled at their utility. So distributed power plants, again, kind of harness the power of distributed energy resources in the community. They work by networking together all of these resources of various homes and businesses for folks that have gone solar and that store that solar power in batteries at their home or business. And during times of high usage, those batteries can then join together to support the electric grid. So thinking of distributed energy resources more broadly, this program will focus on battery storage, but there's companion pieces of a virtual power plant or distributed power plant program within APS, the utility, but then other utilities around the country as well. So smart thermostat programs where you may have your thermostat reduced a couple of degrees on a really hot day, and that helps save everybody money. Again, you can have solar powered batteries, integrate smart appliances, EV battery storage, bidirectional charging. So all of these resources can be networked and work together in a distributed power plant program. And that helps the customers that participate lower their bills and helps everybody on the utility system save money because we're using resources that are more affordable at times of more expensive power. So how distributed power plants work in practice. This is an example from just this summer, actually, from some utilities in New England. And essentially on, a really hot day over the summer in June, you can kind of see, the batteries during the course of the day were charging from rooftop solar resources at the home. And then, you hit that kind of peak power time right around 6 p.m. And all of a sudden, those batteries are then, fully charged from solar earlier in the day and able to be discharged to the grid through one of these events at the distributed power plant program. And so that particular day shifted 31 megawatt hours of load from customers and really, again, like made it so the utility didn't have to buy that 31 megawatt hours from other resources that would be available to them that would be more expensive. So various studies have found that by 2030, distributed power plants at a larger level across the country could save customers up to $10 billion if we triple these resources. We can save a lot of money, $17 billion in annual energy expenditures because utilities won't have to be creating as many resources on the grid, and we can reduce a lot of peak load. So these programs have a lot of effectiveness. Again, they've been proven out to be effective in various parts of the country, and we're really excited to see this program rolled out in Arizona, so you can all be a part of this energy future as well. So distributed power plants, again, they reduce peak load, and that displaces reliance on more expensive energy resources. The cost savings are then spread among all customers, which helps keep electricity bills lower. We also like distributed power plants as Sun because they enable a greater amount of renewable energy resources, because they do help the affordability of solar and storage for homeowners who participate in these programs. And they also facilitate electrification. So again, like your EV charging system, as opposed to being a burden for the grid, you're able to turn into a benefit through a distributed power plant program. Distributed power plants also help meet rising energy needs with off-the-shelf technology. The beauty of a distributed power plant is it can be deployed in months, not years. So the APS system that just got stood up got approved in March just this year. And there's been a lot of work on their side behind the scenes to get it up and running, with all the technology and all the pieces and engaging stakeholder and battery companies. But overall, from March until now, that's all it took to get this program stood up. Whereas if you were building, say, like a large gas plant on the system, it could take years for permitting, siting, and construction. So it really helps to have these resources available quickly, and to get them online in a way that they can scale once the pilot program's over. And this is why we need distributed power plants, particularly in Arizona. So as you all know, there's just been record heat as usual this summer, and that leads to record electricity demand. So utilities, including Arizona Public Service, set peak demand records just this month. So it's really important to, again, get as many resources as we can online to help address this issue. And good thing in Arizona is you have plenty of batteries ready to go. So Arizona has seen a lot of growth in residential storage, 374% year-over-year growth in residential storage. So there's a lot of batteries coming online, and those batteries can be deployed in the system and others like it across the state. So with that, I will turn things over to our friends at Arizona Public Service that are our guests this evening to talk about their program. So thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Shannon. We're thrilled to join you, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm Alex Martinez, and alongside me is Blanca Moreno. Blanca, would you like to give a little introduction first?
Sure. I can start off, Alex. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Good evening already. As Alex said, thank you for letting us join you all today and share a little bit about our APS Storage Rewards program. My name is Blanca Moreno. I'm the leader over the program and portfolio management team here at APS. So my team specifically deals with or manages our demand response programs as well as our energy efficiency programs today. A lot of our work is done in regard to like stuff like this, APS Storage Rewards. We have our Cool Rewards thermostat program. And we have several others as well that we have residential battery pilot that we also have out there. So we'll be talking a little bit more about this program in particular and sharing a little more details with you as well. So I'll hand it over to Alex to introduce himself as well.
Thank you, Blanca. Alex Martinez, Blanca and I are both in the customer to grid solutions department here at APS. She mentioned she's the leader of our DSM portfolio team. I am on our product development and strategy team. And so I was lucky enough to spearhead the launch of this new residential battery pilot program, APS Storage Rewards, alongside the program manager, Sheridan, who you can see is on the call as well. Thank you for all your support, Sheridan. But on the product development and strategy team, we have just launched this new residential battery program. Earlier, we've launched a managed EV charging program, and we also have a lot of customer tools. Two of my favorites are Solar Smart, which helps customers receive a solar estimate from their roof, and it's not just solar, they can also get an estimate for solar plus storage. So I was involved with that tool. So that's my favorite tool we offer for interested APS customers in solar. And our qualified technology installers program. I have to mention it for customers who are interested in solar or really any other technology. We highly recommend it because these installers have been vetted through APS training and are Better Business Bureau accredited. So if you're interested in solar, we recommend you get an estimate from our Solar Smart tool and then talk to 3 qualified technology installers. But I just had to do a shameless plug for that. I'm happy to dive into APS Storage Rewards now. Thank you. So a little bit background of the program. This was ordered from the commission, the Arizona Corporation Commission, March of last year, actually. And then APS held some working group sessions throughout the summer last year. I was lucky enough to be involved with those. We had tons of interested stakeholders, and we had some general outlines that the commission wanted us, but we really got to hash out some of those finer details, such as pay for performance based on average kilowatt delivered. The real crux of the program. Blanca mentioned our existing residential battery pilot. The main difference there is that was an upfront incentive. So this one, customers are incentivized to participate more. The more you participate, the more you can earn. And so the program itself is 5 years and up to 5,000 participants. So I know on some of the slides that Sun was showing earlier, battery adoption here, especially in APS territory, the last year and a half has really picked up. Just to throw some numbers at you right now, we've seen since January over 50% of our solar applications paired with batteries. And just last month in July, we hit a record of 65% of applications were paired with batteries. So batteries are, really picking up, especially in our territory. So it's perfect timing for this program. And if you have an eligible battery, we highly recommend that you sign up. The 5,000 spots, will not be there forever. And then, so a couple of other details of how the program will work is it is a pay for performance design. So customers will, participate in events just like our Cool Rewards program, our Smart Thermostat program, or our existing residential battery pilot. And based on the average kilowatts they deliver across the event season, they'll get paid $110 per. So if they average 3 kilowatts across the season, they'll get paid $330 as a bill credit at the end of the event season. The events themselves, we can call up to 60. Of course, it would never get close to that. I don't believe we've called more than 1 or 2 Cool Rewards events this year, for example. So highly unlikely, but I suppose in theory we could call up to 60. But of course, customers always have the option and control to opt out. You don't have to participate. And then the events run through our summer season or our event season, which is May through October. The events can be called 7 days a week between the hours of 4 and 10 p.m. Again, to really help with our high demand times of day, this program will really help to alleviate some of that pressure on the grid. And in exciting news, we did soft launch on Monday. We call it a soft launch because we have not done any, marketing materials. This is our first real customer facing public talking about it. So we're really excited for the customers who were able to join with us this evening. We will be sending out, some targeting emails for our eligible customers next week. So we're really excited. Be on the lookout for that. But we're really excited over here. And now to find out if you can sign up, I'll pass it over to Blanca to go over some of those eligibility requirements.
Thanks, Alex. All right, so to be eligible for this program is available for our residential customer base. So our customers who have a residential rate and have a home battery system may be able to participate in this. We currently have 3 eligible partners that are currently signed up, which is Franklin, WH, Fortress Power, and Tesla at the moment. We hope that this list is going to continue to grow. And as it grows, we'll be updating our site to let you guys know who's the newest eligible battery partner so that you guys can continue to work with our customers. And if customers are eligible, or if customers are interested and continue to participate in this program. The customers do have to, these are batteries that have already received permission to operate, or PTO. So these systems must have went through the whole interconnection application process and received PTO prior to the application for this program. So that's a really important piece, because if the customer is currently in the interconnection queue but has not received permission to operate, unfortunately, they're not eligible at that moment until they receive PTO. We're not able to accept them into the program just yet. And then we've dropped the residential battery pilot a few times here. That's our existing program that we have today. In that program, as Alex said earlier, it was an upfront incentive. Customers got to participate in that program. And so because those customers received an upfront incentive in exchange for a 3-year commitment to that program, we want to be really mindful that those customers do have to meet their 3-year term before they're able to roll into this program. So if you have a customer today that's in the data plus management, there's a couple of different options here. There's a data only option where we're collecting only information, and the data plus management is the demand response side of it. So we're able to collect information plus manage their batteries. And that option is the one that customers do have to complete their 3-year enrollment prior to participating in this event or in this program. So I think that really covers at a high level the program. As Alex said, it's been a soft launch this week. We are still working through some of the details on the back side of it, on the back end, and trying to figure out, like, all the details that's going to come here. Hopefully the season is still another month away, a couple months away. So, I mean, there's still plenty of time to enroll customers. We're hoping to do some more marketing next week. We're hoping to work with our OEMs, the 3 manufacturers that we have right now, to be able to market that as well through their side, as well as through Energy Hub, which is our aggregator. So Shannon, that wraps up our slide. Happy to answer any questions that anyone has. And as Shannon said earlier, if we can't get you the questions answered today, we'll take them back and get you those answers later.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Alex and Blanca. I really appreciate that information about your program. And here's just a couple more resources on the Sun side of things. Here's a link to our main website on distributed power plants, and it does have a little bit of information about the Storage Rewards program and a link to the website on there in the programs around the country piece of the website. And then here's the email too for the Arizona team. So if you want to get in touch with Jess and Adrian, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And then before we get into questions, we do have a little poll for folks too. So we'll do that maybe here. I'll stop. Oh, sorry. Let me stop sharing and do the poll. And this way, just if you have, it'll kind of ask you if you want to kind of get a little bit more involved in Sun in different ways. So feel free to fill that out.
And I'd just like to say, as somebody here in Arizona, I really appreciate those of you who do fill this out. Even if your hopeful involvement is as small as just joining our co-op in the future, if you haven't already gone solar, we're interested in anybody who's interested in our work. And so we'd really like to connect with you further. And this will also give us your email contact so that we can do so in the future.
And we'll just give it a little more minute or so. Looks like folks are chiming in. That's great. All right.
And while we're doing that, Shannon, are you okay if I start reading off some of these questions?
Yeah, go for it. I think the poll slowed down, so I will go ahead and end it. Thanks to everyone for participating.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, and the first one that I received was from Jewel. She asked, does the Solar Smart tool work with the customer with solar panels, but wanting to know if battery storage would work economically?
Oh, that's a really good question. I don't believe it has quite that capability. I think it will scan the roof and pop out for solar, for new sets of solar. I don't think it can register that there's existing solar and just spit out for adding a battery. It would either be new solar or a new solar system with batteries, unfortunately.
Thank you for that.
Mhm.
And next is from Joe. He asked, when you say average, if you have a Tesla Powerwall with 10 kilowatts, do I need to provide an average of 3 kilowatts? Sorry. For each of the 60 events, 180 kilowatts to get $330.
Yeah, this is the fun math of this program.
Yeah, I want to make sure I'm understanding him correctly. Oh, sorry, Blanca, if you want to take this one, go
Well,
for it.
I think this one's a tricky one, right? Because as Alex said, there may not be a need for 60 events, but we want to make sure that we capture that in the program if there is a need for it. It would be the average across the events, all the events, Joe. So if you share 3 kW across all the events on average, then yes, that's what we would consider for the
Mhm.
compensation.
Okay. And then next is from William. Can you tell us how far away stores power batteries are?
Doors, power batteries.
In terms of approval, I think.
I, well, so there definitely will be more batteries to come. It's not just, Franklin, Fortress, and Tesla. There are more batteries who OEMs who have expressed interest and, TBD. But stores power, you know, I'm just not sure. One aspect of this program that has to be mentioned is the battery manufacturers have to be integrated into the Energy Hub platform. That is our vendor for this program. So if a battery partner is not integrated, which I'm not sure if they are or not, that would be probably the first place to start. And I will mention, I'm sure Blanca flagged it earlier, but if you do have a battery and it's not Franklin, Fortress, or Tesla, we do have an interest form for you folks. That way you can put your customer information, your name, maybe an email and your battery make and model. That way, if and when that does become available, we can send you some, marketing, some emails like, hey, you are now eligible type of thing.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Right. The next was from Gretchen. She says, I understand that this is only for residential energy customers. I wonder if faith community buildings might be eligible in the future or might have a different program at this time.
Right. So for this pilot, for APS Storage Rewards, it is strictly residential. It is the qualifications are pretty cut and dry. It is a pilot, so it is 5 years, 5,000 participants, residential customers. So there's not too much flexibility, but we are hopeful that there will be another program by then, or something for our commercial customers. It's just right now there's nothing ordered from the commission, and this pilot unfortunately is strictly for residential customers. Blanca, would you add anything to that one?
No, I think you covered it, Alex. I mean, we never know what the future is going to hold with when it comes to these. And like Alex said, this is a pilot. So, I mean, the more we learn from our programs, the better we get with that information and the better we can apply it with our customer base. So in the future, we may expand something to commercial, but at this time, we don't have anything on the map.
Okay, thank you. Next is from Karen. She said, how does a resident get a battery storage unit? So I'll go ahead and answer this one in saying that that would be a discussion you'd have with your installer. So if you haven't gone solar already, then that would be something that you can plan into your proposal, and they can give you the cost of the array and the battery system in total. And if you do go that route, we're happy to look over those proposals that you get, because we do suggest going with several installers so that you have a point of comparison. And beyond that, if you already have a solar system, but you don't have a battery system yet, that is something that you can still, of course, get installed. We recommend, if you do that, though, to talk to your installer to make sure that, one, if you don't go with them, that it doesn't waive your warranty, because certain installers don't allow other installers to install batteries without it creating some sort of caveat to your warranty. So make sure with them. But if you've already had an installer give you a solar array and you like them, then certainly you can ask them to install a battery system too.
Yeah, and I would just add, as folks know, the residential storage tax credit is also kind of under rollback, similar to the residential solar tax credit. The commercial battery tax credit, though, is sticking around for a little while. And so there could be an option for, if you want to have a battery installed, and particularly I think if it's part of an initial solar system, there may be a way to do that into the future through a third-party ownership or leasing arrangement. But that's definitely something to talk to your installer about as well.
Thank you, Shannon. Right. Kelly S., are applications open until you hit 5,000 participants?
Yes. Yep. Okay. We will probably, have to close, applications or enrollment when we hit the 5,000, but we'll most definitely probably have a waiting list. That way, if customers do drop off, we're able to, allow customers who are interested to participate.
Oh, that's awesome. Jeffrey asks, can you sign up if you have solar but no battery and get battery installed?
Oh, go ahead, Blanca. Yeah.
I was going to say, for that one, you would have to have a battery already installed. So that battery would have had to went through our interconnection process, received approval or permission to operate, and then you can, as long as it's an eligible battery, you can definitely sign up for the program.
Okay, next is from Wayne of, do we have to buy the battery, or is this program covering the cost like the pilot program? And I'll just go ahead and answer that and say that that no, it is not the same as the previous pilot program. This is an incentive as you join in on events rather than an upfront cost incentive. So there would not be one. Sorry to interject there, but does that capture it?
No, you're great, Jess.
Okay, it's good for me to lock this knowledge in my brain too for when I tell other folks who are APS customers. So thanks for that, Wayne. So Brian, I see that you're interested in a Tesla battery, but didn't get any information from Sunrun. So I would suggest to you actually emailing us at that AZ team email. Oh, yes.
Sorry, go ahead, Alex.
I'm sure you were going to say the same thing, Blanca. The very unfortunate part of this pilot is that Sunrun Tesla customers are not eligible. Sunrun decided they were not interested, and unfortunately they do have a lot of Tesla batteries, and those Tesla customers are not eligible, unfortunately.
Yeah, and we've talked to the Sunrun folks a little bit, and I know you all have as well, and I think they're going to keep evaluating the program, and they're interested in it. They definitely support Arizona as a market for their company, and unfortunately it just didn't pan out for them on the what it would cost them to invest in grid services for the program. But they're definitely interested in kind of trying to see if it'll work in the future. So stay tuned.
That's awesome, Shannon. Yeah. I highly encourage, if there's battery manufacturers that you guys are seeing out there where customers are interested in those and are interested in participating in the program, it's really great to share that information with the battery manufacturers so that they can find out more about the program and see if they're interested, for sure. It would be great if we could grow our list and open this up to more customers.
Okay, and then with Brian, it sounds like he didn't get a Tesla battery with them, but he's interested. So assuming Sunrun allows it, he can use another installer. Assuming Sunrun allows it without voiding his warranty, he can use another installer and then be eligible after that interconnection process, right?
That's right, as long as it's an eligible battery, yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mhm.
Victor asked for clarification of APS will use a percentage of my battery to support the grid. Is that correct?
So I wouldn't, it's tough to say, and Alex might be able to answer this even better than I will. It's not a percentage. I think every battery manufacturer is going to handle the batteries very differently. With our residential battery pilot, we were giving a certain percent that we would take from the battery, but not go over. We learned with that pilot that it's really up to the battery manufacturer and the way they handle those batteries for us to be able to collect information. I think that some customers do have the ability to program their batteries in a way that they can select a certain percentage. Alex, you probably could answer that way better than I can.
Well, the only thing I would add, Blanca, is, and you hit the nail on the head. It depends on the manufacturer because each one sort of plays by their own rules. And so, for example, Tesla, their default settings, might the first priority might be resiliency, and so it will never go under 30% reserves or whatever the default setting is, where and we're not sure if that can be changed or not. You, like Blanca said, you might have to do some manual toggling, but for our like Franklin batteries, we know that they can actually adjust the reserves as much as they want. So if their priority was earning, deplete my battery as much as you can during those events, because I want to maximize my incentive in the APS Storage Rewards program. So it depends on the manufacturer. That's probably, unfortunately, the best we can give you.
And I see that Joe did put on there that his settings are for 50%. So Joe, I would just say if you have the ability to set the settings, I would go with that. And if you have any questions about it, I would reach out directly to your battery manufacturer for answers because APS does not mess with the settings.
Yeah, and I would add under the program and programs like it around the country, there's also kind of places in there. So if you have like an extreme weather event that's coming up that's typical of causing grid outages, then there won't be an event before that kind of weather event, or there won't be a grid event before the weather event. And so that means that your whole battery would be available for personal resilient needs too if their grid does go out. Arizona, you have fewer of those events than some parts of the country. You don't have those snowstorms that other folks get, but it is your battery then would be like 100% ready to go for you. And yeah, you can always change your settings, but for the most part, a good rule of thumb is 20% for home use is really all you would need, like for the evening period through the night, and then that gets you back into the morning, and then your panels kind of start charging that battery up again. So that's kind of how the cycle works.
Okay, great. Pat had asked, so if you share 3 kilowatts for some events and don't participate in a specific event, sorry, my chat keeps jumping around, and don't participate in a specific event, does that count as 0 kilowatts for that event, therefore counting against your average contribution?
That's a great question that I don't think we have the answer for unless Alex does. Okay.
No, that is still sort of in the works, as Blanca said.
Yeah.
It's already basically September. The event season only goes through October. The with the soft launch nature of this, the chances of calling, even 1 or 2 events are very slim. We certainly don't want to count it out. Would love to get one in before, but that's something that we're certainly considering. Obviously going into next year when we have a full event season, if we called 10 and customer opts out of 2, does that 0, how is that going to play a role? So unfortunately we can't give you a concrete answer today, but we will most likely update our FAQs with that information.
So stay tuned. Yeah.
More information to come, definitely.
Okay, great. Next is from Robert of how much control of my batteries will I be relinquishing? One of the reasons for incorporating them with my system was to eliminate the need for power from the grid during peak hours, which is when primarily these would be utilizing that energy.
Do you want to take this one, Alex?
Go for it, Blanca.
So, as far as how much power you'll be relinquishing, it just, again, depends on the battery manufacturer, your settings, that type of stuff. However, the way the batteries would be, if an event is called during the 5 to 10 period or in between there, if your battery is connected, so your battery's going to offset any of your load first. As it's coming. Anything that's not offset by the load, then that's going to come back to the grid, if that makes sense. Sorry, I'm not sure how to explain that any better. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Or Alex, if you could
look
explain
at
better.
is your battery like it's there for the uses that you already have it for every day of the year.
Yeah.
And it's just only during like these couple of hours, up to 60 times a year, probably less than that, that your battery gets to do something else and adds additional value to like what you get out of it is essentially what it is. But yeah, your battery still is there doing all the other things that it normally does every day. So
That's right. Thank you, Shannon.
Okay. Is there a daily limit of kilowatts?
A daily limit? I don't believe there's a limit. No. Mm-mm.
Okay, great. Somebody had mentioned that they'd signed up, and so will they be notified at a certain point? Since this just launched, I'm wondering if maybe that was for another program or.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they're referencing the interest form potentially, and if so, then yes, if they have an eligible battery, then we've added them to our targeted marketing list and they will get notified. If you were interested and did not have an eligible battery, we will not send the targeted marketing. So just curious if that's what the customer was referencing.
If you feel like you signed up through our program this week since it's launched, but you haven't heard back and you haven't really received any updates, if Sheridan's on right now, can you drop in our email for our battery program so that they can reach out to us here at APS and we can definitely look into it?
Definitely. Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Somebody had asked if you're on legacy net metering rate from 2017 that you're grandfathered in under, can you still join this program and will it keep your legacy net meter rate?
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Blanca, but yes, the battery is not going to affect the rate. If you're on one of them legacy solar rates, you are good to go.
That's right. As long as you're only, so if you don't have a battery, if you add a battery only, it's not renewable, so it doesn't affect your legacy rate. If you do increase your solar system, that could potentially impact that. So if it's battery only, no. You're good.
Okay, great, thank you. Tesla allowed someone, Jason, it sounds like, to sign up last night and it says pending. Do you know how long that waiting period will be until they know if they're in the pilot?
That, the enrollment process when it gets to Energy Hub and for us to review, that will not, we'll review those in a timely fashion. From battery partner to the Energy Hub platform, that it's hard for me to say. We're at the very early stages. If he did enroll in his app, it sounds like it's not, there's some hiccups between Tesla and Energy Hub. So we have not seen it come in for us to process quite yet. But imagine that'll be much smoother in the future. Within, I don't want to, overpromise, but within a reasonable amount of review time, I would say in the future.
I would definitely repeat what Alex was saying. I think he covered it great. I would be patient with us during this first week and maybe even next week as we did our soft launch this week and we're kind of like learning here and working through the details here and trying to figure out how that enrollment process is going to work when it comes from Energy Hub to APS. But as Alex said, we are pretty quick with our enrollment process. As soon as we get it, we typically will process them. And we want to keep up with those. We're super excited to see customers start participating in this program. So we're looking forward to that. So hopefully, Jason, it's not much longer before you get a notification.
We're excited to have our first customer
Yeah.
enroll. So fingers crossed, Jason.
As a follow-up to that, Jewel had asked, so you don't first enroll with APS for the program. So is there a difference between enrolling with Tesla versus you?
That's correct. What they'll do with us is just the interconnection application. So their battery application needs to have permission to operate before they can enroll through Energy Hub to sign up for our program. So it's a post permission to operate. So nothing really through us, unfortunately. But
I think what I might be hearing also, Alex, is that they signed up through Tesla. And if that's the case, there might be, so Energy Hub works directly with the OEMs with the manufacturers, the battery manufacturers, to get the enrollment process. So if this customer, I'm not sure if it's Jason still that we're talking about, but if Jason signed up through Tesla app, or even their push notifications through their their app feature, there might be a small time delay there between Tesla and Energy Hub and then APS. And that's the kind of stuff that we're still working out all the details on. So we're still learning as we're going through it. Hopefully we can iron out all those details and make this process as smooth as possible for our customers.
Thank you, Blanca. Victor asked, for those of us with solar and a battery, how do we enroll? And so I think that'll be that enrollment website that I put in the chat. And then he asked, what does monitoring mean? My installer went bankrupt and no one is monitoring nor maintaining my system.
Oh,
that would be tough for us to answer because APS does not do any of the monitoring. Unfortunately. So I don't know, Jess, if is this something you guys have received in the past?
Yeah, and I would just add, Victor, just so it's clear, so the relationship is really with your battery manufacturer. So, your installer doesn't have a lot of role in this system. So, if your battery is one of those three types, they're still in business. And you're able to kind of work with them through this program. So that would be a place to start is, the APS website, and then go through your battery manufacturer. And then, Jess, I think, can take the other question about the installer.
Yeah, I want to first say I'm really sorry that your installer went bankrupt. I know that's very stressful. And through that, offer two potential pieces. One, if you email us at our azteam@solarunitedneighbors.org email, then hopefully we can help you as those problems arise. But unfortunately, when installers go bankrupt, that labor warranty is void. And so if there are issues, which hopefully is not the case here, that would be something that would be out of pocket unless you enroll in third-party warranty. And so something like Solar Insure, for example, is something that you pay on a monthly basis, and they overtake effectively that labor warranty. And so that would give you coverage in the absence of your initial installer's coverage, if that's helpful at all. And like I said, feel free to shoot me an email and I'm happy to walk you through that, Victor. Okay. And thanks all for your patience. Going from the Q&A to the chat and trying to do it based on your timestamps is a struggle. So I hope I haven't missed anybody. Richard, I see that you say you have SRP, and you said that their smart investment tool basically said that it wasn't going to break even for you to go solar through SRP. And you said, does SRP tend to discourage its customers when it comes to installing solar? I don't want to say that they dissuade folks from not going solar, but I will say that as far as kind of the three major providers in the Phoenix area, they tend to have the lowest buyback rate for solar, which does make that investment period longer than, say, with APS or TEP. So with that in mind, they are planning to have a battery program similar to this in the future, I think sometime either at the end of this year or next year. So there are some options that might make it more economical that might not be captured in that tool. However, there is a longer payback on your investment through SRP, unfortunately.
Just there's a good question in here about, because we've talked about Energy Hub and people are like, who is Energy Hub and what do they do and what's their role in this whole thing?
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. So Energy Hub is our it's the resource operating platform. It's the vendor partner that we have that houses all of the enrollments. And we use them for our Cool Rewards, Smart Thermostat program, our existing residential battery program, our EV Smart managed charging program, and now this new APS Storage Rewards pilot program. So it's the hub where all of our enrollments for our distributed power plant are housed, and they are independent of APS. They are not an APS company. They are our partner, that we use for all of our demand response type programs.
Okay. Thank you. Kelly already participates in your EV program, and she was asking who can she call at APS to see what other programs she might be eligible for, since she doesn't currently have a battery but is considering it, if you know.
I don't know that I have a who. Wonka, outside of like our rebates page on aps.com, what are your best references?
Yeah, so if you called our call center, I'm sure that they would be able to deliver some information on most of our either energy efficiency or even demand response programs that we have available. They have a library of resources where they can share some of that information. It would be interesting to, I guess, dive in a little bit deeper on that and find out what programs you're currently on, because there's several other programs that we have. Cool Rewards is the first one that comes top to mind. If you have a smart thermostat at home and you want to participate in Cool Rewards, that might be a good option. I would encourage you to give us a call at our number, and I don't have it off the top of my head. Alex, do you know what it is?
Are you talking CTS?
Uh-huh.
Oh shoot, I know. I always forget.
I can get it for you. Yeah, we can get it. Thank you. Yeah, we
Thanks,
can get
Sheridan.
it. And if you want to give us a call, we would love to talk more about some of our programs that we have that can definitely help with both bill and reducing your load and also helping the grid at the same time.
Okay, awesome. Ron had mentioned that Enphase is on Energy Hub, since there is a big connectivity piece with Energy Hub and this program. And so is there any hope that Enphase might be included in this program in the future?
Alex, you want to take this one or you want me to take it?
I'm sorry, Jess. Can you say that one more time?
Yeah, it's about Enphase batteries. So since they're already connected to Energy Hub, is there hope in the future of them enrolling, being part of the enrollment, or is that off the table?
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, no, they were as mentioned, they are integrated in Energy Hub. They were one of our partners for our existing residential battery pilot. They are currently not a partner for our APS Storage Rewards, but the door is not shut. There has been some talks, there has been some expressed interest, so we are hopeful that we can get them on board at some time. Unfortunately, right now they are not a partner. We're hoping yet, but no timeline, and it's not guaranteed.
Okay. And then Wayne says, if my system is through Sunrun, but I own it and get a battery through one of the improved batteries, would I qualify? And so, as I understand it, still no.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, if it's just the solar system that you have right now, I'm not sure if I understand the question. If he has only a solar system and will be adding a battery system through one of the approved battery manufacturers that we have on our list, I think just to your point that you said earlier, I think it would depend on the Sunrun warranty and making sure that you're not. I think you said it best just earlier. I would just check in with Sunrun, just make sure that you're not going to lose any warranties there. Before you add a battery. And if you do add a battery that's within the participating list, then you should be eligible.
But I do want to be clear, if Sunrun is installing the Tesla, if it is a Sunrun specific Tesla battery, that is not eligible. I want to be clear.
Yes, thank you.
Tesla batteries that are installed by pretty much anyone not Sunrun is okay. But if it's Sunrun, Tesla, that is no, at least for now. Hopefully in the future, as Shannon said, maybe there's been some renewed interest, but they're currently not a partner. Those batteries are not eligible.
Okay, he did clarify that yes, it sounds like he's planning to get a battery installed. So hopefully, yes, Sunrun will still have
Perfect.
the warranty, and he can
There's still a
join.
chance then.
Right?
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay, and then Joe said that he's already a part of the battery program pilot that you had previously run, and so will be available to join this program for next summer. If I add Tesla batteries to the Scottsdale home, would my 2 homes be considered one of the 5,000 or 2 of the 5,000? Because it sounds like he has another home in Prescott Valley.
Could be 2. Yeah, if I'm understanding that question right.
Right. It would be 2 different accounts, so to speak. So it would take up 2 enrollment spots. But you could have, 5 batteries. The devices aren't necessarily capped, but I think that would count for 2 separate participation slots.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, and then Jeffrey in the Q&A, it looks like, yeah, and the question is whether you can add a battery, like now that your program's launched, like if someone adds a battery like 6 months from now, can they enroll in your program? So as long as, it's an eligible battery and as long as the enrollment is still open, like the 5,000 hasn't been
Yes.
reached. Okay.
The enrollment period does not close. It's not seasonal. It'll be year round, and you guys can apply as long as you said, Shannon, they have an eligible battery.
Mm-hmm.
And I think specifically with that question, I think maybe the confusion is that your battery has to be interconnected. So while you're going through the installation process, you're not eligible. But it's as soon as that battery is connected, you are, or interconnected. Right. Yeah. And so you are, you can still, Jeffrey, get that battery. It doesn't render you ineligible. It's just after that switch happens.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right. And then, like you were saying with this application period, it's only ending whenever the 5,000 folks are reached. There's no like time period, like a specific date when this program ends before that if you don't reach the 5,000 applicants.
If we don't reach the 5,000, the pilot will still end at the 5-year mark.
That's right.
And to that point, there is a chance that we don't call our first event until next year, and the 5 years technically maybe start in 2026 and goes to 2031. Now, there's a really good chance we do call, at least one this year, and it is the 2025 through 2030, but there is a chance it does go from 2026 to 2020 through 2031.
Okay, thank you for answering that question too.
Yeah.
And then Joel was asking, how long does it take to get a battery installed and allowed on the system by APS? Which I think that's probably going to be hard to say, since that's really specific to your installer's timeline, and then also the permitting, which is the city versus interconnection with APS. There's a lot of different steps, Joel, and so we couldn't say definitively.
We couldn't say. The one thing is, if it is battery only as opposed to a brand new solar and battery system, there's a chance that's maybe a little slightly smoother process. But like you said, Jess, it's just too hard to predict between the city inspections and everything else that goes into them. Fingers crossed, everything is smooth on the first try, but sometimes diagrams need to be reviewed, or there needs to be multiple field visits, city inspections. So I would hate to give, say it takes, a month and then it takes much longer. So I will steer clear.
Okay, well, you all put us through our paces with those questions. So I really appreciate the hard-hitting questions that you asked, and it looks like that may be all of them. If anybody else had other ones, like I said, feel free to reach out to the
Jess,
email.
did someone have the hand up, maybe?
It looks like Zach might.
I don't know if that
Shannon,
was
are you able
accident.
to? Oh, it looks like it might be because I think they're
Okay.
okay. Thanks, Zach. But yeah, if you have further questions, Sheridan put that APS email for chat support in the chat. And then also that AZ team one is a great way to reach me. And we are happy to help you all in whatever ways we can going forward. And we really hope that you enroll in this program and can reap the benefits.
For questions about the battery, the only thing I would say, instead of calling the number, reach out to us directly at storagerewards@aps.com. For questions about this specific program. If you're looking for other programs available in APS, I would say give that number a call. So I'm just going to drop it just to bring it down to the bottom here, storagerewards@aps.com. You can reach us directly about the program.
And then Wayne did have a last question of whether or not there was any possibility of you implementing a similar pilot program as what you did before with the upfront incentive in the future.
Yeah. So again, we don't have anything on the roadmap right now for a upfront incentive type of program. We're hoping that this program here, a pay for performance type of reward, that this is going to be a little bit of a like win-win situation where we're able to incentivize customers or reward customers for partnering with APS to help relieve some of that strain on the grid. Nothing as far as upfront incentives, nothing's on the roadmap right now.
And I would say it's probably unlikely, Wayne. I would never say no, but I would say it's unlikely. Pay for performance model seems to be where the industry is going in best practices. So I would say much more likely you see something similar to APS Storage Rewards than the existing residential battery pilot.
And then a last question for us. Can Solar United Neighbors remind us which step of the install process is the deadline for tax breaks to install a battery? Maybe I'm not fully understanding that one since it's battery specific. Shannon, do you understand what Kelly's asking? Is that just a matter of like it needs to be interconnected to be like the most conservative by December 31st? I think that's what you're asking.
Yeah, so we are not tax lawyers, we're not accountants, but from what we understand of the bill that was passed by Congress, your expenditures have to be spent this year to have it as like the 2025 tax year. And then that credit will transfer into when you do your taxes for 2025. So basically, you know, the system doesn't have to necessarily be installed and operating or interconnected and operating, but you do basically have to have your system sort of built and paid for this year to get that tax credit this year, if that makes sense. So that's as far as we know right now.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, sorry, the battery piece threw me off, but yeah, I appreciate that. And then
Yeah.
Zach.
And it's just because the residential battery storage incentive is also, you know, it was wrapped up into that rollback. So again, the commercial battery incentive is sticking around, but the residential battery storage incentive. Yeah.
And then to your point, Zach, we're going to send this recording. And so you'll have access to this entire presentation. And then also, as Blanca just put in the chat, you have access to their email too, so you can ask them about more. Okay, all right. Thank you all for joining us tonight. And I really appreciate our hosts and panelists tonight too. Excellent job, y'all. I thank you for your knowledge.
Thank you all.
This was a blast. Thanks for having us, son.
Everyone have a great night.
Bye, everyone.